Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
From Willow Springs in North America to the Red Bull Ring in Europe, we return, well, back home for half of the commentary team to the iconic land of Europe and this iconic circuit, but on a much shorter version tonight as the SRF Weekend Warriors rolls into town by the doubleheader here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Tim Cox with Charles Bouchard and Josh Wilkie. But let's just have a look at the championship standings. Qualifying ongoing in the background right now. And well, Spec 1, first off. Yeah, say no more. Marco Panero leads the way. Comfortable margin, as always, 70 points, the advantage over Jason Green in second. And then we've got Yang Jilin, who's been on a resurgent form of late, yeah, returning to the series, but still yet to claim a victory since round 2 at Phillip Island. Yeah, Duno Castro, well, where could he have been? Has had so much bad luck to his name. He lies 4th. Overstreet, you win time out. A scintillating finish at Willow Springs. Lies 5th in the championship, only 3 points behind Castro. Then we've got Alan McCain, Mr. Consistent after winning Spec 2 last season, promoted to Spec 1 now. Then Renders, Dantrust, Pavini and Wood running out your top 10. Crossing to Spec 2 now. Oh well, it's Ian Gibson still holding on to that lead after, you know, some mixed results of late and being away as well. In fact, hasn't been on the podium since his win back at Spa. Still 30 odd points clear over Paul Jackson in second. Sorry, 50 points even. Judge Justice in third, McLeany 4th, and it's Berry Finneson, Tyler Brackenbury, who's come along and ripped apart, picking up a third last time out. With Pocock 8th, Newton and Horniak running out your top 10 there. Crossed into Masters now, and well, I mean, it started strong for Yilmani, but it's just starting to taper away a little bit. With only one win coming from his last 4 races, and that being 2 weeks ago at VIR. Tom Gradwell that now finds himself 9 points behind. And Gradwell is yet to make the podium in Masters this season. Stephen Mitchell is in third, Bradshaw 4th, there's Nunes, Cathcart, Longin, Murakami, Friction, and Brewster, who's well down considering finishing the top 3 in the championship just 1 season ago. Across to tonight, we lie 2,222 feet above sea level. And now joins us our resident Alabamian, Would that be the correct pronunciation of
That
it, Charles Michel?
that would be the correct pronunciation. Thank you very much, Tim. So yeah, this is going to be one of those races that we may remember for a long time. I'm sitting here watching the qualifying. We got Panero up on top. You've got the top. The last time I looked, 28 cars within. Actually, we're at the 30 cars within a second of the leader.
Well,
for qualifying.
Let's mention as well, when the Formula 4 broadcast ended, only 15 minutes ago or so, here on Apex Racing TV, you said to me, Tim, I reckon we're going to see the top 30 within a second. And when we loaded into the session about, of course, for an hour ago, well, not even, it wasn't even that, was it? It was probably about 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago, so we were literally at that very, very stat, weren't we? And in fact, now, Charles, you have to go to 37, Stephen Mitchell, who is 1.02 seconds off the pace.
That's amazing, and here's the other part of that. So obviously, Marco Panero is on pole currently. His gap is 0.2 of a second, which is remarkable considering as we said, we've got 35 cars within 1.2 seconds. That's just amazing. Yeah, we're using the short layout here, what they call the international circuit. So we're missing that big heavy braking zone, turn 3, and then that little short run down. So it cuts that off. So we've got a nice turn 2 now, but it's extremely tight turn 2. There's going to be lots of little places we're going to have to talk about. We've got this corner, 90-degree right-hander, turn 1. As we get the shot running down here to turn 2, which is almost 180-degree corner. As you can see, Yang Shilin just trying to fight it a little bit. That takes you back in here to the S's and sets you up for those final 2 corners, which is so easy to get an off track and a slowdown. So that's something we're going to watch out for, and that's even before we talk about pit entry and pit exit.
Well, we spoke off air, didn't we, about this? These slowdowns. It could be absolutely definitive come that final lap. You get it slightly wrong, you slow down, you could lose a lot of places. Equally, with such short lap times, I mean, that was 56.5 seconds. As Lynn actually approved 56.4 seconds of your life just went by away there. Also, James Walker going on to pole too by a 10th. So he's managed to improve by 0.3 of a second. That's an astronomical amount of time around such a short track on board with the Canadian. Now, the driver who's really, really resurgent of late has found this a crazy form. I'm not sure where from. So for me, it goes back to Sandown in round 2, I think it was, where we really saw him come alive. No, Sandown was round 4. Apologies, but yeah, that's what really springs to mind. You see the track temperatures and such like up now, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. That's round about, what is it, 22 Celsius for those of the correct metric system, shall we say.
Yep.
But yeah, this could well catch a few of our drivers out and come to fuel stats where we end up going 1 lap more. It's not like with Nordschleife where it's going to be 4 laps and that's it. Here, we could end up going 1 extra so very, very easily, and it could catch a few people out.
Absolutely, yeah. It's for our drivers like Jason Green, who likes to do the fuel strategy, the fuel saving. There's really not a place to save fuel around here. Maybe going into the front straight up into turn 1. And even then, that's a tough ask because you've got that hard braking zone at the end. So it's fuel strategy is going to be, fuel saving is going to be difficult. Fuel strategy is going to be very important because you're absolutely right. 2 or 3 seconds here or there in a lap, and you're going over an additional lap. And then, so now you've got drivers who may not make it, and we've seen that several times in this series.
And there is the man you mentioned, Jason Green, currently lying in 5th. 4/10 off the pace. That's a big old margin. I mean, for him to lose 4/10, though, in contrast, so the gap between himself, to give exact times, 0.44 of a second between himself and James Walker in pole. If he was to lose that time, Charles, that puts him all the way back into, realistically, 26th place, Tyler Brackenbury, who's 0.45 of a second slower than Jason Green. 5th to 26th. That midfield is so tight.
It is. It is. Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it. 604, 608, 622, 625, 645. It's just, it's just going to be, like I said, turn 1 on the first lap is almost guaranteed to be chaotic. How much we won't know yet until we get there. But yeah, this is going to be one of those. It's just one of those that you've got to be extremely careful. And even then, you may get caught up in something that wasn't your doing, as we see Mr. Sedgley in the Lego car. I've got to do a paint for this. I hate to say this as being the co-owner of Olympus, but I've got to do a paint for this car for Dan.
You have. He's currently 6th. Now, actually, mentioning about big names, Gustavo Ariel of ESL R1 fame, and I'll sort of expand on that in a little bit in a moment. A pro driver. He's currently in 16th. He has only completed 5 laps compared to James Walker's 16, or Marco Panero's 10, or Yang Jilin's 16, par example. But good to mention as well, former weekend warrior Jamie Fluke. Congratulations to them. There goes Ariel, goes to 5th win. Yeah, Jamie Fluke, congratulations to him picking up his first ever win in the SLR1 a few days ago on the road at Atlanta. So a track that he's always struggled at in any sim. But, well, all came together very nicely for him. Really, really happy. And, yeah, it just shows where the Weekend Warriors, how far stretching we are here, as a series. Yang Jilin, as we mentioned previously, absolutely mopped up when it came to the SCCA a couple of weeks ago at VIR on iRacing. It just shows to show the wealth of talent up and down through the field that we have here. I mean, so much so, you can find the likes of Chris Murakami, who dominated for years Masters class, down in 29th position. Ian Gibson, our leader in Spec 2, down in 34th.
How about Christian Kabanka, who just won the Formula Ford race in 39th?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, there you go. Hook, line, sinker. And it's not like he's just because he's only just joined, he's done a couple of laps, Charles. He's submitted 15 laps. Yeah,
it's just this depth of field is amazing. You're talking about Gustavo, who's now moved up to P5, so he's still 0.4 of a second off pole. And this is like I said, as we said, it's a sub 1 minute lap. So it's this is going to be a fun race to watch. I'm hoping that it's clean from green to checkered, but as we're going to talk about that pit entry here, this is the pit entry and exit here is extremely difficult. And I think that's going to be a factor in there as well. It's very easy to get the 25-second penalty for unsafe pit entry. So that's going to be one of those that might be another issue, and we'll have to talk about.
Also the pit exit as well. Drivers looking to swing out to the left. I mean, we've got a stat grid. I feel for our producer Josh. An incredibly short circuit. We've got 48 cars in the session, although Oring and Lauer, did not submit times. They will start at the back if they decide to join us. Even say 46 cars, and let's take you through the runners and riders of how they will be starting here today, round 8 of the SRF Weekend Warriors, presented by Ray Esports. James Walker on pole with Marco Panero joining him on the front row. That's going to be a real battle. But look at the names behind him. Lynn and Castro on row 2, with Castro's teammate Ariel just starting behind him in 5th, next to your highest qualifier in Masters. It's York Marnie as usual. Jason Green has, your Dan Sedgley there, Charles, starting in 8th and making it row 4. Les Plaver and Simon Mayer rounding out your top 10. Evandro Dantas and Gardini make up row 6 of the grid, with row 7 being Perry and Favini. And Darlow and Race, you could say well done, but as well, so many names and such quite tight times. They make up for row 8. Row 9 is Overstreet and Wood, with the top 20 being rounded out by Tom Gradwell and Pedro Mora. A new driver to see, another Texaco Racing by TK driver. I can see the Brazilians out in force here today. Row 11, that's Arnold and Renders, with McCain and Fritcher on row 12. Row 13 sees our highest qualifier in Spec 2, Hugh Simpkins, next to Brad Cathcart. Row 14 is an all Spec 2 row of Phil Berry and Tyler Brackenbury. Chris Murakami and Jim Brewster ran out the top 30 in row 15 and make up an all Masters row. And there's 2 all Spec 2 rows in the form of Funnison and Alan Jonsson. And Stephen Healy and our championship leader in Spec 2, Ian Gibson, down in 34th. Row 18, had to think about that. There, you don't get this level of participation in any other series. It's Andrew Love and Adam Bradshaw. Row 19 is Rick Wishen and Josh Justice. And then we got Christian Kamanka, as Charles said, your winner earlier on in the Formula 4s, making row 20 next to Paul Jackson. Row 21 is Stephen Mitchell and Mike Newton. Jeff Cantor as Gianni Longin for company on row 22. 23 sees Faglini and Martin Nicolaus, new driver to the series. Interesting to see how he gets on. Ethan Ulrich has taken to the grid, but John Lauer has not, so I don't think he'll be making the start. Even so, 47 cars here for you today for your viewing pleasure from Red Bull Ring, Charles. Well, he's starting to buckle up and get ready for a wild ride.
Yeah, this is going to be, the start's going to be crazy. I see a couple of stragglers now. They kind of gap the, stretch the field out just a bit, so they need to tighten that up as we see them kind of racing up to form the 2x2. So yeah, the start's going to be critical. Turn 1, just making sure that everybody gets through there. There is a good runoff, so if you get kind of pinched to the outside, you can just kind of take it wide, take your off track, maybe lose a spot or two, and then kind of reset and get ready for turn 2, which is going to be rough. I think it's just a tight corner. It's going to be difficult for all these cars to get through there.
Well, we are green, we are racing, and Walker does not hang around whatsoever. So much so, Panera caught napping against Lynn. He's going to sneak up the inside there. Watch out for those 2 Tesco by 2K cars of Ariel and Castro trying to make their way through against Panero, but it's still Lynn trying to get his way through. Hasn't got the most done against Panero, but that's just allowing Walker to eke out a gap. 7 tenths already, and we're not even through turn 2 proper yet, as it looks like everyone's got through the opening stages here amazingly, somehow, some way. Some big gainers already. Rick Wishen at 5 places, also at 4 Maurice Funnison 2. Wow, already up. Ethan Orring from the back of the grid, he's up 6 incredibly. Biggest losers, Overstreet down 3, down 4 Town Gradwell, down 5 Love, down 3 Jackson. Already we're completing lap 1. This is how fast and furious it is here from Red Bull Ring on the international layout. And already look at those gaps up the front that Walker and Panero have eked out both half a second each over their respective rivals.
Yeah, it's the gaps are kind of starting to spread out a little bit. There's not a lot of room for like what we would normally see where they're draft trains running. So it's going to be interesting if you get a car out front that gets a good gap, he may be able to get away.
I'll tell you, race, just getting into Gardini there a little bit. Everyone survives though, lives to fight another day, but needs to be careful because Favini and Darlow and co are hot on the heels. To get a gap bigger than a second, you need to go from first all the way down to 30th technically, so 29th technically, because it's Jim Brewster, who is 1.3 seconds behind Chris Murakami at this early stages. There's been a bit of an incident involving Healy, I think Faglini and Nicolaus, a bit gutty on his debut in this series. But even so, Ethan Orrig up 11 now.
Yeah, it's an incredible run coming from the back. Obviously, he's a Spec 1 driver.
Spinner. Yogbani. And he's the spinner of the spinners. Here we go. There's bonnets flying in the air, left, right, and centre, Charles. There's been a big incident. It's all happening down in the midfield, but worryingly as well for this lead group. Yes, they're clear of them. It goes absolutely. Very quickly. Charles, we've only done 2 minutes 40.
Yeah. This is lap 3 of about 42.
Wow.
So-
Charles, into the pits, Marnie, Knutson, Mayer, Perry, Overstreet and Wood, some big names into that, retired, well, potentially retired already. Kabanka, your winner in Formula Ford earlier on, already a lap down. Cathcart's had a bit of an issue. It's all kicking off in the midfield once again. Meanwhile, up front, well, they remain as they are, but that breakaway chain, Charles, is now only realistically a top 9 in the 10-year race, leaving the best of the rest, and then there's some big old gaps of, well, 2 seconds plus between the next 5 cars, each respectively.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think Josh is trying to get us a replay here because it's going to be fast and furious. But yeah, Monty, I think, was just the first of many. I think in the rest of it was just a reaction to his spin. So we'll see him coming in turn 1.
Here comes Dantas at the inside, bit of argy-bargy, nothing too much, and then, just loses. The extra tap, and that sent him into the wall, and then there was separate incidents. That all kicked off further up the track, I think. Everyone's slowing up.
I think you're
hard
right.
to spot, really. I mean, Josh doing well, just to siphon through all the incidents that have happened and overtakes so far to bring us that alone. Let's see if we may have found something for us. There's Marnie in the pits. Here we go. So, right, Josh Arnold. Now, he was involved. I mean, let's see if we get it from the helicopter, maybe. Might give us a good look-down view. So, he bashes McCain, and that's what side of... Well, they're already... Look at that big one in the distance, though.
Was probably part of the Monty incident.
They're still going at it. Look.
Just incredible. Yeah, and it's kind of what we expected. It's the the chain reaction incidents because everybody's packed so tightly that as we get another replay here. Yeah, it just because the cars are so tightly together that it only takes one little mistake and then you've got the big one, as we would say on the oval side.
Well, as to quote Rock Burgundy from the iconic film Anchorman, oh boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, man, that really got out of hand fast.
Yes, it did. Yeah, it did. It's like I said, yes, it's one of those that's you get one and then it's a chain reaction, and it took out a lot of our front runners. So you've got people like Monty and Overstreet, who's usually up front.
Mayer, Wood, Perry, Andalo, Kabanka. It's a name better view, and already so 36 down, being Tyler Brackenbury already 1 lap down. Already. Wow. Dan Sedgley and Jason Green still all involved in it as well. So that's still good for our fight for the lead. Positive things. But Charles, Ethan Oring from the back of the grid, thanks to that big instant, he avoided it and he's at 33 spots now to 14th.
Yeah, it just is great driving on his part to just stay out of everybody's way. And good things happen. So, I'm sure he wasn't expecting to move up 33 positions that quickly, but he has done so, and he's up in the top 15.
There he is. 14 to be precise. He has got a little bit of a gap though, 6 seconds, Jeff Richer in front of him. And it's all kicking off behind already. What can the American for their Delta Sports do this stage of the race? I mean, it feels like it's been a lifetime already, but we're only just... There is Thomas Renders in a little bit of a bubble by himself, but Cradwell starting to catch up behind. He's bringing Jeff Richer along for the ride. And then they've got a big gap of 6 seconds back. So Hugh Simpkins, who starts up another bit of a train with Oring now involved in that one. Actually, Oring, I think he's been overtaken. So he's only up 32, making that 31 places as he drops down to 16th. Oh, and going off track there, certainly not going to help him and his progression, but I wonder whether... there we go. There's Claudio Gardini, so they've had it coming together.
It looks like a tow back to the pits for them.
Wow. So, O-rings out. So another one bites the dust. In terms of actual physical retirements, though, we've only got Perry, Marnie, and Kabanka so far, which is amazing. I don't know how that's quite managed to happen. Favini getting out of the way of this lead group coming through, who nose to tail, amazingly are completely unaware to what's been happening behind them, and it's been going on track, and luckily haven't caught up with the rest of the pack that quickly to then get tied up in it once again. Walker leads from Panero, Ariel, Castro, Lynn, Sedgley, Green, just still onto the tail end of this group. Then a bit of gap to play. But Antonio Race leads Masters with Friction and Gradwell rounding out that podium. Then Simpkins, Wishing and Berry, your podium in Spec 2, 14th, 15th and 16th respectively for those drivers.
Yeah, so yeah, obviously.
Here we go. But he's already made a bit of contact. I can see a bit of a scuff on that front right there, Charles.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's already had the contact with, was it Gardini, I believe?
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, we see the back to the front of the field here. So yeah, this kind of front seven is just kind of checked out at this point due to I think the Monty incident is kind of just made that natural gap in the field. So they're thinking they may be thinking it might just be time to just kind of run in line for a few minutes. We've still got another 30 minutes to go. So it's probably good. Now they will be encountering some lap traffic in a couple of laps. There's a few cars that are 40 seconds down already. As you can see, one of them kind of in the distance there.
It's Michelle Vaglini, although there is a 4 3/4 second gap to Alan Johnson, who's in 29 for Adam Bradshaw just coming into the pits. Pit window is actually now open for our drivers. Oh, that's why Bradshaw's in, no front end. I mean, not too much of an aero track around here, so it's not the end of the world losing your front end, but there's extra damage. It's definitely going to slow him up either way. Drivers do have one fast repair available to them, and Bradshaw will be fully utilising that right now. Vaglini's had an incident, and I think he's jumped to the pits potentially, or he's just moved out of the way. And he may have even parked it. So that's actually going to help this group have even more breathing space before they come up to the back of Alan Johnson in 28th. Especially with Bradshaw heading to the pits.
Yeah, that's good. That's probably helped them out a little bit as they can just kind of navigate fewer cars. See Favini here. And he's just off the back of that lead group.
There we go.
The gravel.
Pushing out, trying to stay on the back of them to try and gain a bit of slipstream, a bit of extra pace, understand what they're doing, and just a bridge too far for Favini. Of course, teammates with Marco Panero. But Walker still leading this one, and well, after the drama, I say drama of the start, realistically, this top 7, maybe a little bit swapping around on the initial opening stages, but they've remained as they are pretty much since the, halfway through the first lap, and now on to lap 13, 11.5 minutes complete. They really, really settled down into this race. But I do worry for James Walker, because we know for a while that everyone behind him, this has now turned into a fuel save race for them. They've got a good buffer back to a Let's Play for 6 seconds. But when you do come to pit, it doesn't matter where, what stage you're going to do it in the race, you're going to come into traffic. As that is Lynn and Sedgley just going towards a little bit, and they just that means that he's going to extend out to a second, actually, that gap to Castro. Not what Lynn would have wanted.
Yeah, not what Lynn would, or Dan, either one. It's just he I think that the section of track where he made that move left him a little gap there to the lead 3, so now they're going to have to work to try and catch that back up.
Wow, there's Stephen Healy into the pits from 29th position. So he will actually get home on that. He's got a bit of a bent front end. He's been in the walls. Well, not too bad. Bit of a scuff on the front left, and there you go. Pops all back in shape and turn out. Left side of the car a bit damaged too. So he'll get up and running, and he'll be able to take on enough fuel to get himself home. And Bradshaw too. He's got enough to get home. Oh, there's Murakami. Well, overtaking on pit entry there. It was Martin Nicholson. Nicolaus, apologies. We were slow on pit entry, and that's the second time I know that he's been into the pit, so that's not looking good for him. As that gap here, Charles, it's starting to open up once more, and this is the stroll around here. You haven't got time, like that whole, that long run up the hill, as you said earlier, to turn 3, to maybe engage a bit of a pushing crew where Lynn could just push Sedley and trying to catch up and breach this gap that they've currently got to this top 4, who are starting to walk away a little bit at this stage of the race.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's just going to be difficult for them to try and make that gap up. I will say that, just from, Jason Green, we know he's probably fuel saving. Dan is actually really good at fuel saving off. A lot here to be gained. But I think, as we were talking about earlier, I think it's a smart strategy for those cars that were in that lap 1 incident to get back out on track, even though they're a lap down. I think there's still positions to be made even from back there. I think there's still, things that are going to happen during the race. So, you're not quite done yet. You can still actually pull. So yeah, it's just, sorry about that. And yeah, I think it's I still got a good chance to make up some spots before it's all said and done. So it makes total sense to get back out on track even though you're lap down.
Yeah, well, also, let's not forget this group. So who are they going to encounter next in terms of traffic? Well, that's going to be Maurice Funnison, who is embroiled in a battle with, well, you can see it on the screen right now, Alan Johnson and Stephen Mitchell. But it's all Funnison into the pits. So he will go home and he will definitely, on the fuel, and definitely fix some of that rear end damage that he's experienced at some stage during the race. I'm going to hazard a guess. It was during that big one on lap 2 that we experienced. Apologies, lap 3 won't it be, because that's when York Marnie headed to the pit. So yes, when it all kicked off and broke up the field, and well, your biggest position gainer now, after Oring ejected from the race after his incident, is now Rick Wishing up 22. However, Josh Justice and Gianni Longin are both up 21 places. More places gained than the entire F1 grid.
Yes, that's a lot of cars he's passed.
It's 22 to be precise, Charles.
Yep,
if we're being pedantic about it, and having a bit of intercontinental banter going on here on minute 16. Wow.
I was just going to sit here thinking, we talked about the Formula Ford race earlier where the undercut didn't really work because it's a drill draft track for those cars. And I'm thinking, is this as we see a car off, who was that? That was Viglini. Yep. So I don't know if he hit the. Yeah, it kind of looks like he's got some damage there.
I think he's got it. Yeah, is he back? Yeah. So that.
Yeah.
Not
a little bit. Already got a little bit of damage. Yeah. So.
But not as much as when he left the scene of the crime. Missed the apex. Round the rear went.
And he's just trying to get out of the way.
Did he temper it? No, I think no. Okay, it looked like he got more damage, but clearly not. As our leaders stream through there. He comes out as well. Just it. That's Sedgley, Lynn, and Green just heading through. That gap, incidentally, Charles, they've extended it, our top 4, by a further 3/10 of a second. I was going to say 3 seconds then. That'd be very extreme. That's Sedgley off in the background, isn't it? No, it's not there. He's in the foreground.
Justice?
Yes, well spotted.
Yep. So, no, it's... I was just sitting here thinking, is the undercut possible here? But I don't know if you're up front and you undercut, you're just going to be in traffic, and it's not. Don't think it's going to really help you out. As we see
talking of up front. Yep. Oh, you go on. You were just about to mention it.
Yep. Ariel moving up to P2, passing Panero.
Wow. You Simpkins into the pit. Let's have a look at exactly how it all unfolded. Well, was it a mistake from Panero, or Panero just letting him on by? Well, he's really close. Prime position, yeah, just squeezed this car up the inside, saw half a gap and applied the Ayrton Senna mentality. If there's a gap there, then you got to go for it, and he went for it, and it got him up into second. Gave Walker a little bit of breathing space. Out comes you Simpkins from the pits. Yeah, that pit exit line could be crucial. It's a long way down. What is, I mean, is it technically the back straight on this layout? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what we would call that. We would call that the back straight. But yeah, it's, you know, the pit exit's uphill, then a hard braking 90-degree corner to the right. So, you know, and so you've got to pick up your speed and then slow down and then make the corner and then try and flare out.
Charles, now we saw Walker just really cut the corner there. He's losing a lot of time. Now, I know the off-track tickets will cause him to slow up, but even so, if he's got to slow down, we could see him lose a few places here, and it's going to be telling in the next couple of corners whether he did pick up a slowdown from it. He's got back up to pace. I think he's okay, because he'd be trying to burn through it on this front straightaway if he did have one, as Lynn gets past Sedgley finally. And now the hard work begins, because he's 1.8 seconds behind Dudu Castro, who's in fourth. But just talking about the pit strategy, yeah, going back to how you mentioned about it earlier. Equally, these lead two groups, they're running around in a little bit of a bubble right now, where, you know, they're not really fighting any back markers. Yeah, they haven't really encroached on certainly any battling back markers. So I think, let's see Brewster there talking about battling back markers up against Andrew Love. That's battle for 19th place. But, you know, if they come in and pit at this stage of the race, I think that's going to throw them out into the mix of all these back markers. And that's going to cost them time. Faglini slowing up our leaders.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
If he could even slow up the next group behind. Let's take a little look at what happened. So I'm hearing from producer Josh that was imminent amount of death here potentially to our lead group. Oh, just slid the rear. So let's have a look at the rejoin as he tries to, well, so hard to pick out. Oh, I just saw on the left him coming. And he's back on the track and wow.
Yeah,
damage avoidance.
Yeah, that wasn't quite the correct line to rejoin from that area, because those cars are on the edge of the track limits there anyway, and his angle was not great as he rejoined.
In Faglini's defense, with this amount of cars on track, Charles, I mean, we've still got running 39, of which Faglini is the last. It's so hard to try and rejoin. You know, there's not a lot of space around here.
No, there's really not. But it's the driver's responsibility to rejoin the track safely.
Very true.
And so, you know, you just got, if you've got to bite the bullet and lose a few seconds because you've got to wait for a gap, that's what you have to do.
1.5 miles, 2.3 kilometers in length this circuit. I'd love to see a track map just to get some sort of vision of what we're trying to convey in words here, of just how busy the track is right now. There's Josh Arnold. Well, a little bit of patriotism from our Canadian producer for his fellow countryman there as he sits in the pits. You Simpkins into the pits as well. I mean, I can't believe, in some ways, I don't know. It feels like we've been at this in absolute eternity. We're only just over half race distance.
Yeah, for sure. It's just, as we see, there's a little bump drafting going on there between Lynn and Sedgley.
It's not working. Oh, well, it is working, Charles, but the gap has actually grown since. So when Lynn made the pass, the gap was 1.8 seconds. It's now 2.6. So they've lost further time somewhere. Arnold into the pits because he's had an incident somewhere on track, so that's why he was in pit road.
Yeah, I mean, it just could be the pace of those guys up front. I mean, in the end, if you've got a group that these guys are, obviously those were some of the fastest guys in qualifying and some of the fastest racers we've got in the SRF series. So sometimes it's just I can't catch them, and that's kind of the way it feels right now. Now, obviously, Lynn is a very accomplished SRF racer, but maybe he's just a little bit off today, and so this front four can just kind of move on. It could have been there could have been an incident where they had to slow down, so maybe one of them checked up or something. But this group up here is just very, other than that pass of Panero by Ariel, they're just content to just ride in line.
That's Johnny Longin that just coming up onto the back of there. You can see, and this is gonna play into the hands of that chasing group of Lynn, Sedgley, and Green, because they surely have got to have lost a bit of time coming through that part of the circuit, not somewhere where you can really catch someone. Looking back from Longin, and he's not going to make it easy. I mean, he doesn't have to. It's not like F1 where you get blue flags, you have to instantly jump out of the way. But the compromise over there for Walker really going to slow.
Oh, no.
No, he's gone.
Oh, it was just, there was a sign. I couldn't really see how that transpired, but that was, obviously there was contact between Walker and the car that he was lapping, Longin. So let's see if we can get a replay of that better angle and just kind of see how that all transpired.
I don't know whether he drifted out wide, assuming that Longin would just allow him to, facilitate the pass.
Yep.
So here we go. We're going to go up the inside as he was doing. And
he's
just drifting out wide, and
he caught he caught the inside sausage curb, and that kicked the car out. It's like we saw last week with Willow Springs in the final corner. He got that inside sausage curb in the last corner, and that kicked the car out to the left, and the contact was made. Yep.
Wow. Just summing that up nicely there. Brutal. Just brutal.
Yep.
That means we've got a new leader there in the form of Gustavo Ariel. Panero and Castro, your top three in that group. Walker, well, I think that's him done. I think that could well be another retirement to join who have we lost so far. So we've lost Bradshaw's still running. We've lost Josh Arnold, Viglini, Nicolaus, Blackenbury, Knutson, Gardini, O-Ring. So O-Ring, Perry, Marnie, Kabanka, and Sean Lau not making the start. Friction into pit road. Quick just heading out. Well, Panero just sneaking through up the inside there, casually.
Yep.
And Longin just, keeping well out of harm's way. But Jason Green just falling back a little bit during that phase there. Does now mean, so 1.5 seconds is all that gap is now. Maybe actually 1.6, so they are getting away still, that lead group, 1.7. But Lynn has taken a big chunk of time out of them.
Yeah, I think the incident, obviously, with Walker has also kind of shrank that gap as well, because so it's just still riding around that a couple passes here and there, but generally speaking, they're not really battling at this point.
No, they're not. I think they know they need to. This is becoming the battle of the Red Bull Ring. It's becoming borderline all-out warfare, nearly a real street fight for a lot of the drivers, and they've seen what's just happened to our leader James Walker at the time, and the last thing they want is for that to be happening to them when they've got chance of realistically what's looking like a solid podium, as Lynn still cannot keep pace with this lead group here, locked in almost a NASCAR style vacuum where they're like pushing each other along with their just raw pace and ability. I do have to worry for Panero though, because Castro and Ariel being teammates, is he gonna get ganged up on a little bit?
Yes. Short answer, yeah, I think that's probably what you're going to end up seeing before it's all said and done. When you've got teammates out there, you're going to try and work together. Obviously, this is Castro's in this series full time. Ariel comes in when he can. So I definitely think that Castro is the kind of like one to watch at the end of this race. I also noticed that Green's kind of dropped off from those from Lynn and Sedgley as well.
I think it was during passing some back markers, Charles. Certainly around when they got past Longin. And I mean, thanks to the pit stops, they've missed out a bit of another chunk of drivers. They've won with Fritschia, Favini, Murakami, Justice, Love, Adalo, Mora to Simpkins, I think I might have already mentioned. Yes, they've missed that group, so they've lapped everyone up until and including Fritschia in 16th. So they are catching Jim Brewster. There you go, you can see that red livery just on the horizon there of the 933 machine. He currently lies third in Masters. Phil Berry into the pit, so that's going to be another one that they don't have to worry about as he full on locks up to get the car slowed down in time to get down to pit limits here.
Yep, you see some damage on his right front also. So he'll be taking his fast repair as we see Canner coming in. This car actually looks pretty clean, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't know how he's got away with that one.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. We talked about this. We had 30 some odd cars within a second for qualifying, and the leaders have just set a pace that they're now lapping. Now, of course, we've had a couple incidents, but the leaders are lapping up to P13 now. Ian Gibson, who's the leader in Spec 2.
He is, although he will lose that after he stops, and but Phil Berry will certainly take back that lead in Spec 2 as I think that was Alan Bradshaw heading in again there. So that's the second time he's heading into the pits. So they've cleared Brewster. Lynn could sneak up the inside of Brewster, who's really say a seasoned weekend warrior veteran. So we look back from Ian Gibson, who you mentioned about, as he heads through turn 1. There come our lead trio, and Panero just looking a bit slow there. Goes defensive to the inside. He feels vulnerable. What's Ariel going to do here? Nothing. He just slots back in, allows Panero to have that. But all of that has just slowed them up enough to bring Lynn and Sedgley to within 1.5 seconds. Charles, if they can get that to within a second, I think they should be okay. I think they should be able to catch them, but it's if they can do that, because already they've lost a temp. Actually, no, they're gaining 2 or 3 temps. As into the pits comes Panero, and he's come all by himself. Brewster heads in too.
Yeah, I think that the lap traffic is starting to help help that second pair kind of close that gap down just a little bit. It's now at a 1.4. So that may even tighten up a little further as they're still, rotating, trying to get to when they feel they need to pit. We're getting close. So we're almost 31 minutes in. So it's, we're getting close to the time where you just have to come in a pit.
Well, Panero led a lot of it. Well, actually, he sat behind Walker for quite a bit of it until he lost Walker. That was back on 24. Oh, that's not going to help Marco Panero whatsoever. So, yeah, we lost Walker on lap 24, lap 33 currently on. So it was only 9 laps ago, wasn't it? So although Panero would have been at fuel saving for most of that, sat behind him. Green into the pits. So it's how deep, realistically? I mean, this is one of the benefits of these short laps, isn't it, Charles? That we sort of spoke about earlier on, in the sense of you've got flexibility in your pit strategy. It's not like the Nürburgring on the Nordschleife, which we've raced on before here in the series many a time. You stop on lap 2 or lap 3. That's it.
Yeah, exactly right.
Those are your options. Here, you've got a whole plethora of array of options available to you as to when you choose to stop. Traffic playing a part once again, because look, Lynn, the gap 2 seconds behind our top 2 right now. There goes Green. Where's he going to come out?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he comes out and who he's around.
So he's come out in front of Plaver, 34 seconds in front of Plaver. But 6 seconds nearly behind Panero. Sedgley into the pits. In by himself. Ariel and Castro, so yes, still carry on again. They're running this really, really deep here, but they sat, very, very far back. They would have fuel saved and would have worked together a lot of this so far. I mean, surely your favourites. Dantas into the pits from 5th. So race leading Masters. So all of Masters to start. Your podium there's Race, Fritcher and Gradwell. Spec 2, they've all stopped. Gibson is the pits now. So I'm going to allow that just to sort things out. Certainly on pit exit. He loses the place to Panero. Does he lose it to Green? No, he doesn't. I think he's going to save that one. There is Jason Green. So yes, look, normally the expert on fuel strats is Ariel and Castro into the pits and Lynn in too.
Wow, yeah, I was just looking at Sedgley's pit exit, the gaggle of cars that was in front of going into turn 2.
Did Castro get that slowed down in time? He was he came flying through, all 4 wheels locked up.
We'll know find out in about we'll know in about 20 seconds or so. So if Ariel leaves and Castro doesn't, we know he's got the slowdown. And there goes Ariel.
Yeah. Oh no,
he's good. So we got Lynn coming right out behind him, so he'll be right there with Dudu Castro.
Ariel obviously
short. Yeah, it was a very short stop. I was just about to say that.
7.4 seconds, 9.5 for. Well, Lynn's registering only 2.3 seconds, Arhand. I don't think that's correct because he was whole pit lane transition time was 46.2 seconds. So I think he's okay. But look, he's come out right behind Marco Panera in that fight for that last place on the podium.
Yeah, and more importantly for the championship. So the championship points are on the line here as well. That was a very short stop for Lynn, 2.2.
It can't be right because you look at his transition time through the pit lane, 46 seconds. That's around about in line with everyone else around him. But now it's hammer time for Lynn to try to take away this 3rd place from Marco Panero. I mean, realistically, they're not catching Castro. He is 2 seconds up the road near as damn it. 0.8 to be precise. That's Lynn looking to get mountain attack already. Castro 2.3 behind his teammate Gustavo Ariel, looking for a Brazilian 1-2. Then 1-2 for Tesco by TK. In fact, that would be in Spec 2. Let's have a little look. Josh Justice, hasn't won since round 3 back at Summit Points, and hasn't been on the podium since Spa at round 5.
So it's so we see Barry into the pits now, and Murakami. So this is their 2nd pit stop. So we wonder what's going on with them.
Well, no, remember Barry had he had a fast repair,
didn't he? Was the fast repair. Yep, you're right. Absolutely right. So this is their...
but then he was deep into the race. He could have got home on that. As Murakami, that's a drive-through.
Yes, it is. Yep. So that's an incident limit.
Do you have to wonder? I mean, it's a Cruel Mistress Red Bull Ring. Who else is close to that limit?
It's pretty easy to get off tracks here, especially as we talked about turn 1, and then the final corner as well. Is you have to be very cautious of those. I don't know who else may be close.
But it's not just that, Charles. When we had that big incident back on lap 3. There's going to be a lot of people. People probably walked out of the way with that with 8. 8 X's total. So, there's definitely going to be a few struggling. Meanwhile, these two, I think Ariel must have slowed up a bit there to allow his teammate to catch up.
I think you may be right. I think you may.
I mean, Ariel's not going for the championship here.
Right.
But, he's a racer. He loves a win. But a bit of team tactics maybe to help his teammate and good friend, Dudu Castro, take the victory here and help his championship aspirations.
I mean, that would not surprise me. Like as you said, I mean, Ariel's here. He likes to race. He likes to win races. But realistically, if you can get an extra couple points to your teammate in the championship, absolutely that's what you want to do.
I believe as well, Gustavo Ariel has won every race that he's entered in the SRF Weekend Warriors.
Every one I can remember, and of course my memory is a little shorter than yours, but yes, I think you're absolutely right.
He won the opening 2 rounds, one of them being at Road Atlanta 2 seasons ago. And then we didn't see him for the rest of the season. I'm pretty sure we didn't see him all last season. And then he went back at Spa earlier this year. So by the season, sorry. Apologies. Philip Berry's had a bit of an incident, so that means that he's going to fall out of Spec 2 podium. So without looking at Spec 2 podium, Justice Simpkins and I need to check what class Moore is going to be in. Here's a newcomer. As he hit the wall on pit exit, pushing too hard. No, that's it.
Interesting.
Barry came in to fix some damage and decided, you know what, this car does not feel right. And well, another one bites the dust, meaning we've had 13 retirees and 1 non-starter out of a 48-car grid here today. It's brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah, brutal is the correct word.
These two still locked in with one another. Occasion a real battle here as we approach the closing stages of the race. There we go. Well, we are white. We're not quite on white flag lap. We've got one.
Just a second.
We are indeed. There we go. So they exit the final corner. White flag in the air. 1 lap left to go from round 8 of the SRF Weekend Warriors, presented by Ray Esports. And this is going to be a comfortable stroll home for our top 2. It's that battle behind them with Panero and Lynn. Lynn 4 tenths behind, and work to do on this final lap if he wants to get himself onto the podium here today. Of course, Lynn hasn't been on the podium since VIR, where he finished 2nd behind Panero. Couldn't quite get the job done on the final lap, could Lynn, having led most of it. Time running out fast here. Plaver into the pit lane, so that's going to be a drive-through. Panero knows he's in trouble. He goes defensive. Ariel just coming around the penultimate corner, 1 corner left. He's surely going to take victory here today. Just keep an eye on the background. It's a 1-2 for Texaco by TK. And the photo finish for those two. The run to the line. Here comes Lynn. Can he do it? No, he can't. He loses out by a tempo with Marco Panero.
That was tight. That was a great run out of that corner by Lynn.
So next up, Dantas versus Renders is the next battle we need to keep an eye on, viewers. There they come. What can Thomas Renders do? Can he be the Flying Dutchman on the run to the line? Well, look how close he is. He sneaks up the inside potentially. Looks at that. But he might compromise his exit there. In doing so, that might have not been the move to make there, Thomas. And that has just allowed Evandro Dantas to hold on to 8th place.
Another big group right here.
Yeah, Fritcher and Overstreet across the line. They're not for position though, those two.
Yeah, good run by Fritcher, top 10.
Yes, well spotted. Josh Justice at 24. So is Gianni Longin. There he is.
Yeah, exactly right.
Wow, I don't know about you, I'm drained.
Yeah, that was quite a race. It was quite a race.
I mean, as they say, it's 5 o'clock in the world somewhere. I think I'm going to need a beer after that one, or maybe even something stronger, like a single malt scotch or something like that, to try and decompress after what have we just witnessed. You said it, I mean, you called it full, rightly so, before the show, in qualifying, that this was going to be a wild race, that this is going to be crazy, and it was nothing less.
No, it was a great race. There was a lot of excitement. Obviously, you hate to see a quarter of your field taken out in a group of like 10 seconds from incidents. But but otherwise, yeah, fantastic race. Lots of strategy and lots of drama type battles all over the track. It was really enjoyable.
That it was indeed. That was indeed, and but almost a bit of the old traditional, back to old school here. Weekend Warriors Demolition Derby on the final lap. After the final lap, kicking off here from Red Bull Ring. But let's take you through some classified results, and I get the feeling there might be one or two drivers that might lose a few places due to post-race penalties due to track limits. Let's find out though. Well, they made it look like a photo finish, but it was all for the cameras between Ariel and Castro finishing within a tenth of one another. But the true race for the line came for third, with Panero beating Len by 1/10. Dan Sedgley in the end finishing fifth, with Jason Green sixth. Well done, couldn't make the strategy work for him, unlike in the Formula Fords earlier on where he took victory. Antonio Racing winner in Masters finishing 7th. It was Dantas Renders, Jeff Fritcher second in Masters and rounding out that top 10. Let's Play for 11th. Tom Gradwell picks up 3rd place. At 12th overall in Masters, and the last driver to finish on the lead lap. Can you believe it? Only 12 cars on the lead lap. There was McCain, and then Josh Justice, you win it in Spec 2 with you Simpkins just behind him and second in class. Love and Brewster and Andalo take you up to 18th. In 19th place was Ian Gibson, who gets onto the podium in Spec 2. Gianni Longin 20th, then it's Funnison, Murakami, Mitchell, Wishen, Favini, Healy, Mora. Last driver's finish on 1 lap down. Dan Wood, 28th, was 2 laps down. Then we have got Paul Jackson Overstreet at the end in 30th, 2 laps down. Cathcart also 2 laps down. And Bradshaw in 32nd was 3 laps down, so was Cantor. Into retirements, Philip Berry. When did we lose you in 34th? That was back on lap 37. Lap 36, we lost Mayer Johnson. On lap 25, 24 was Walker after that incident from the lead. Josh Arnold, we lost at lap 22. Lap 20, Faglini. Lap 15, Nicolaus Brackenbury on lap 14. Knutson on lap 12. Lap 7, lost Gardini and Oring. Gusting, because he was at 33 odd places at the time from the back of the grid. Jason Perry on lap 5. Marnie on lap 3. Lap 2, Kabanka and John Law did not make the start. Let's have a bit of a chat to some of our drivers. I can see he's set on mute, our race winner. So let's have a chat to second place finisher, Dudu Castro. Beautiful photo finish there for the cameras between yourself and Gustavo. Nicely synchronized. But just talk us through that race. You seem to be just working together and almost a bit of a safety in numbers with your teammate.
Yes. Hi, guys. We pretty much work it together. Yes, we are trying to save fuel a bit, and of course saving some off tracks because this track is really tough for that. So at the end, I think Gustavo burned less fuel than I did, so he had to put like 0.8 to a liter less, so he could jump off the pit faster than I did. So then we try to win together, as you said, Le Mans 24 hour, both cars together. That was our intention, and it was good. It's always tough to race with him. He's unbelievable on this kind of game, and for me it's good to have an opportunity to be with him and be racing with Marco too and Yangtze, guys that have half of my age, so it's always fun.
Showing them how it's done, these young kids. Dudu, I've got to ask. 3rd at Willow Springs last week, 2nd here today at Red Bull Ring. Week Simon Sneckerton, the win. Improving by one place each week.
Well, I hope so, but will not happen because I will be traveling next Sunday.
Well,
so
there we go.
I would love so. But last week I had an opportunity to win, but 7 laps to the end, I realized that I need to save fuel. So I started saving fuel, but it was not enough. At the last corner, I went all out of fuel. So, well, it's okay. It's fine, man. It's good for me. It's good for the TK team. It's good for Gustavo. One more win. He's on an excellent timing of the year. So, yeah. Thanks a lot, man.
Definitely. Well, congratulations to De Castro. Finished second here today. Charles, if you managed to go out for a chat.
Well, let's grab our Masters class winner, Antonio Race. Antonio, congratulations. Bit hectic there at the start of the race. How did you see things?
Hello, Charles. Hello, everyone. Hello, all the viewers. And nice to be back on the business. Somehow it worked. I don't know how, but I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So obviously, there was a little bit of drama early, but you managed to pick up 9 spots during the course of the race. So you had a good had a good result out of it. Were you close to the big wreck coming out of one?
Yes, I was really close. I don't know. I was really lucky to get away with that, but I was just thinking, okay, I'll be there dead as well as anyone. But somehow I look to the mirrors and okay, if I'm looking to the mirrors, it means that I'm still alive.
Well, it was a good result for you. Congratulations on your class win.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
So, let's squeeze in our race winner, Gustavo Ariel. Gustavo, congratulations. I do believe this continues your streak of wins of every race you've entered in the Weekend Warriors. You've won, I believe.
Yeah, this was. That you mean the racing project or what?
Well, I was saying every time you've entered a race in the Weekend Warriors, I believe you've won all of them.
Yeah, I did 4 races, and I won these 4 races. We talking with Dudu before joining here, and I think I did Interlagos, Road Atlanta, Spa, and now winning in Red Bull Ring. So yeah, always a fun moment to join here, and I joined like before right before the end of the qualifying. I said, you guys want to do the race? Yeah, we're in the server and 12 minutes down, so yeah, let me join. And so yeah, was like on point to do the race, so I'm happy to perform again. And yeah, always a great setup and a great moment to drive with Dudu and Evandro, Pedro Moura, all these guys was doing well on the qualifying as well. So yeah, I'm happy to perform again and to represent Texaco Racing by Tony Kanaan.
And were you aware of what was going on behind you in the early stage of the race? Because there was a big incident, but I'm not sure if there would have been any of the drivers on your relative, and or were you surprised at how quickly you were catching a vast majority of the drivers to lap at all?
Well, it was difficult because in this kind of racing, you're always looking more on the relative because yeah, you have a lot of back markers because it's a short track, so we have a lot of cars and there's a little space between each other. So yeah, I was always looking on the relative to see what is the P6, P7 guys was doing, the lap times and stuff, and the back markers as well. So yeah, unfortunately we had a back marker take James out, so yeah, he was doing great, like leading all the race, so that was a shame. And after the pit stop, I did a very good pit stop. I refueled like 1 liter less than Dudu. Then I had to save a bit at the end because otherwise I had to to stop again. So yeah, Dudu came in the draft and we finished like Ford versus Ferrari, like both side by side. So that was a great moment. So yeah, always afraid with the traffic because we can lose a lot of time and the P3 can come back on the draft. So yeah, I think I did great. We did great, me and Dudu, and we deserved to be on P1 and P2 with a big margin to P3. So yeah, that was a nice one, and I love this track. I won my first past race here, and this year. So yeah, I like it.
Definitely. Well, best bet if you're still in the session. Go back and have a look at lap 3. If not, go back and have a look at the broadcast. There was a massive incident which will explain why you caught so many of the back markers so quickly. Before we let you go, ESL R1, yeah, how are you faring swapping between the two sims? I know from Well, I've spoken to a few of the Apex Racing team lads. They've, especially Jamie Fluke was telling me, it's a real contrast in their, iRacing and Rensport are two very, very different sims, and it can be quite hard to juggle of, racing both of them at the same time.
Yeah, that was a problem for me because it's been a problem. It's been tough. It's a challenge because I'm driving two different things, Texaco in a racing, Furia in the hand sport. So yeah, it's very difficult to switch between the sims because sometimes I'm racing race like until 3 a.m. and then I need to wake up like 8 a.m. to do the hand sport race in the same day. So yeah, it's quite mentally, it's very difficult mentally to do it because it's so different. Like the way you drive here, the trail brake with the calm, there's more aggressive and you need to downshift like a crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's completely different, like the type of racing as well, because you start from the back. It's difficult to stay like on the top positions to go to the semifinals or something. So yeah, it's been an amazing like challenge for me. I'm liking it, but yeah, it's tough. And the last race, this round 7, I did from Atlanta. So I was driving there on an event from the sim to real life, and I finished that event. And on the next day, I was on the sim at the track, and on United States, and had to fly back to Denmark here again to do the round 8. So yeah, it's been very busy for me to drive in these two sims, but yeah, it's a good challenge, and I'm developing myself a lot to this challenge as a person, as a driver, as a team, working with the teammates and stuff. So yeah, this is one of the best life experience. But yeah, it's been tough there because it's a new sim for me, and sometimes you doubt about yourself because here I'm top 1 rating and there I was not finishing so good on the race. So yeah, we're still developing, we're still finding that limit there, but it's been a challenge for me.
Definitely. Well, good luck for SLR1, and well, when we get you again, hopefully you'll be on the winner's step once again here in the Weekend Warriors. Congratulations, Gustavo Ariel for Texaco Racing by Tony Kanaan. Well, I don't know about everyone else, but I'm off sit down and cradle myself in a dark room somewhere, maybe with an alcoholic beverage. What have we just witnessed? I don't know, but it was just classic Weekend Warriors, wasn't it? Let's face it, and well, we get to do it all over again in 1 week's time. Maybe a little bit more calm, potentially, but we head to Snetterton on the 300 circuit, the full fat layout. We'll see you then. From myself, Tim Cox, Charles Felt, and Josh Wilkie, thank you very much for joining us, and good night.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.